Hi everyone, it's Monday. Happy Monday to you. I'm Jewel for J7409 Weather as we check out the tropics and see what's going on. Everybody wanting to know about the system that may form down around Florida. Well, Florida, whether this system hits you or not, I can guarantee you that by the end of this week, probably by Friday or Saturday, many portions of Florida, especially along the west coast, you're going to get at least 5 inches of rain between now and then. So go ahead and prepare for your rain because it's coming. Now, we're going to check out the GFS also. And this, of course, the European model. This is the anomaly map. It's not the vorticity map. We'll get to that in a moment. But things have changed, yes, since yesterday. So we're going to click through here. You can see the timestamp now. We're up to Wednesday. We can see that energy beginning to drop down into the Gulf. Now you see it there, right under the Florida Panhandle. Then it starts to form. And then it forms some more. Pressure down to 995, going more westerly now, looking like Texas and western Louisiana. And boom, there we have it, right in there. Moving right on up through Texas, and here we go up, and also up into Oklahoma, but it's the pressure is 1001 millibars right now. It tracks on over in parts of Kansas all the way up to Missouri and Iowa, getting less formatted. It's nothing. The pressure is 1002, but then look, when it gets up to upper Michigan, going towards the Great Lakes, it starts to reform again. Check that out. So, this is what the anomaly map on the European model is looking like. Now, these maps are courtesy of Tropical Tidbit. I don't want to say exactly where it's coming in yet. We got to see what forms out of it. But I think it's got a 70 to 80% chance of forming, folks. But the GFS map is a little different now. It doesn't show it being quite as strong. This is the anomaly map again. We'll get to the vorticity map in just a moment. Here we go. You can see the timestamp. Wednesday on the European model, something had started. Well, Wednesday on the GFS map, as you can see, it's just beginning a little bit of energy here, not too bad at all to form down around the Panhandle. As we move it up, there you go. And then it weakens right back out, but then it starts to form again. But nothing of any significance till we get to Thursday. Now, I said Wednesday on the other model is when it started to actually form, so this one's just a few hours or a day behind. But then it weakens. But it's still going in the same general area. So that's the question. It's moving over towards western Louisiana and Texas around Houston area. But it keeps it going more to the west instead of moving up north until Saturday. Then coming in lower in Texas. And poof, it's gone. So see, these maps, they're kind of the same, but they're quite different also. Now, this is the vorticity map for the GFS. So we click through. I started this on Wednesday. You can see the timestamp at the top there. Moving along, moving along. Now something's trying to happen on Thursday. This is the GFS again right here. You can see how it's moving through. That's all energy, people. And it's all, you got to remember, this is all in the Gulf. And I'm going to show you the Gulf temperatures for the sea. And they're very, very warm. It's hard for me to think that this will not form. They're trying to do something here on Saturday. It's western Texas right down. It's gone down into the southern part a little further than the European model takes it. And then boom, it's gone. So now let's go check out the vorticity on the European model. Okay, this is for Thursday. Let's run this right on back now. Here we are for Friday. We want to go up some. Saturday. We want today. Here we go today. All right. Now, we see this trail of slight energy moving off. Man, that brought rain over my area in lots of parts yesterday with thunder and lightning, a little bit of wind, the whole 9 yards. But we're going to move through now. And you can see this energy start to drop down here Wednesday. That yellow, that's energy. And it's in that hot, hot water. So here we go, and boom, by Friday, you can see the time differences. I want to show you guys this so you see. It has begun to form more than on the GFS map. Here we go, look at that. Isobar is getting tight up there. Could be a tropical storm, at least a tropical depression, but I'm thinking more like a tropical storm maybe. And then they come up on the western side of Louisiana, the eastern side of Texas, and they move on up through Houston. Dallas may feel some of this also. Coming up, it still has this going up into Oklahoma, and then moving on across. So, they do agree at some points. They don't agree at some points. The European model has it a little bit weaker, stronger than the GFS model. GFS model is a little less evasive, I should say, because the isobars never get this tightly compact. But let's go see what the National Hurricane Center says. This is on 5 days, okay? 5 days. This is the National Hurricane Center, and here we go. A trough of low pressure located over the southeastern U.S. is forecast to move southward toward the northeastern Gulf of Mexico, where a broad area of low pressure will likely form in a couple of days. So today's Monday. By Wednesday or Thursday at the latest, we should see this thing start to develop some more. Now, some gradual development is possible. Thereafter, a tropical depression could form by the end of the week, while the low meanders near the northern Gulf Coast. Now, this is looking more like it's leaning a little towards the European model. Now, this system has the potential to produce heavy rainfall along portions of the northern U.S. Gulf Coast later this week. Okay? Now, if you live along, let's put this back down here. Look down at the bottom. If you live along the northern Gulf Coast and Florida Peninsula, just like I've been saying all along, you guys should monitor the progress of this system. Now, in the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, it's not going to do anything, okay? Through the next 5 days, they've got a 70% chance of it forming. I'm going to give it a 70 to 80% chance forming. Okay? I'm giving it a 70 to 80% chance of forming. Hurricane Center's giving it a 70% chance. But regardless, if you live along the northern Gulf Coast and the Florida Peninsula, you need to keep your eyes open on this system. Now, I know everybody wants to know, where's it going to go and what's it going to be? I cannot tell you that now. It is way too early. We have to wait for this to form, which is going to be probably Wednesday or Thursday, okay? It may be a big rainstorm. It may be a tropical storm. It could have hurricane force wind gust in it. We'll have to wait and see. The best thing I can tell you right now, everybody along in here needs to be on the outlook and prepare for whatever comes your way. Now, this is Wednesday. This is set on the rain, okay? This is set on the rain. We're going to check the rain out Wednesday afternoon around 3. Let's go to 6 o'clock Thursday morning. You can see that rain is getting more and more. So whenever it gets white, that's a lot of rain, folks. Now, we'll go to Thursday night around 10 p.m. and the low is forming a little more, but right now it's just looking like a low pressure. Okay, Friday at 2 a.m. we got a few more rings around it here. We got lots of rain. Let's see what the wind is looking like right quick. Not too bad yet. This is the sustained winds. They're not too bad. They are looking like maybe, well, this wants to jump up on me. Hold on a second. The sustained winds are looking like 32 knots. This is Friday morning at 8 a.m. Still not really affecting a lot of land. You might be getting some rain showers along the Gulf Coast states, maybe a few wind gusts. This is the sustained winds. They're not too bad. Let's see what the wind gusts might be looking like at this time. And let's see if it'll let us get it up here right quick. 49 knots. 49 knots. Now this is Friday morning around 8 a.m. So let's take this off and bring it down a little bit in size. We'll move along to Friday around 10 p.m. that evening. Now it begins to crank up. Saturday around 9 a.m. There you go. What are the wind gusts now in these more tightly compact isobars? 59 knots. So that's pushing a very high-end tropical storm wind there, okay? Now, tropical storm, not hurricane strength, tropical storm. And that's wind gust, okay? So far as the sustained winds go, let's check that out together. See what they're looking like, if it will let us right quick. 40 knots, so 40 knots is over 40 miles per hour, so it's about 43, 44 mile per hour sustained wind. So it's looking like a tropical storm at this point. So we'll move up some to around 5 p.m. Saturday afternoon. The winds are looking about the same. What about the rain? Let's check that out. The rain's getting more prevalent, as you can see. Look how these white streaks are moving on. This is still out in the Gulf, but it's going to move on up. Looking like now that the center would be right on the border of Louisiana and Texas. So we'll move up to around 2 a.m. Sunday morning. Boom, look at all of that rain. My goodness gracious. Now, everybody over in these areas will get some of this rain also, but just checking out rain. Let's see how much, and you can see that's around Lake Charles. All of this white is producing anywhere from 1.5 to 3 inches of rain in 3 hours. I just checked on that for you. That's what it's looking like. Then as it moves on along, let's move it down a little bit. In size, you can see now. Here it is. What about the wind at this point when it's on land? It starts to fizzle out with the wind, except right along the coastlines. Yes, still some wind, but they've come down into the 30s for sustained winds and wind gusts at this time. Well, we still got some pretty good wind gusts going on, folks, okay? All around in Texas, all around in Louisiana, got some good wind gusts going on. We'll see what that's looking like, where it's at, these wind gusts. You can see if you live around Lufkin, Texas. They've already passed Houston now. And when it's in this area, it's got some pretty steep wind gusts, 62 knots. No, that's not hurricane strength in miles per hour, but it's getting up there, okay? So you guys need to prepare big time, okay? Now, what about the sea surface temperature? How warm is the Gulf? Over in the area that it looks like whatever does finally form of this system, whether it be just a big old rainmaker, a tropical storm, or more, we'll have to wait and see. Where it looks like it may come in as of today, the sea surface temperature water right there is 86 degrees. That's hot, folks, and it's like that all over. Now, we got to take in consideration it's going to meander all around in here for a few days before it gets here. So, we're going to have to wait and see what happens. By Wednesday, day after tomorrow, Wednesday or Thursday, we should be able to peg this thing down a little more. But in the meantime, I'm just telling you people, if you live anywhere from right in here to all along in here, I would prepare for whatever may come, whether it's a little or whether it's a lot, to be on the safe side. Because once this thing gets down in this very, very warm water, don't be surprised if it explodes and becomes a little more than what it may look like at the present time. It may not. I'm not saying it's going to. I'm saying there's that possibility. And I'm saying if you live along these coastlines anywhere, you need to prepare. And even without it blowing up, it's going to bring buckets upon buckets of rain. And that rain's going to go all the way up into Oklahoma and parts of Missouri and Illinois and Indiana if it takes the same track that it looks like it will this morning. It may not. It may meander closer to the coast and then come up here in Florida and Alabama like it was looking like for so many days. This remains to be seen. We'll have to wait, and when everything is in agreement, then we will know. Okay? So the best I can tell you, folks, from my heart and being honest, and the best anyone can tell you, they don't know. They're telling you to prepare because, look, I want to show you something. It's going to form into something, okay, right here. An area of low pressure drifts southward from Georgia into the northeast Gulf of Mexico by Wednesday morning, bringing the promise of heavy rain to Florida today through Wednesday. The National Hurricane Center advises a high chance of this system evolving into a tropical depression later this week. So, there you have it, right there. You know how these things change, folks. See how it's changed since yesterday, and it was either 2 or 3 days in a row it stayed the same, and then boom, now it's going nudging a little further west on both of the models. Whether it be a system that's formed or not, it's still nudging a little further to the west, looking like this may be an area that it hits land, whatever it is when it happens. But you know how these things change. Last year in Florence, I went to bed. Florence wasn't supposed to be that bad for me. We could have some wind gusts. We could have some rain. Maybe a little flooding. Well, it stalled. It stalled before it went a little further to the west and went into the Wilmington area. And I could have drowned. That's how much water there was around me. If it hadn't been for my nephew Brad here, he was bailing water out of my kitchen where the storm surge was so bad it knocked down the door to the house. And I had waves coming in my house. So, folks, I mean, you know, I'm not saying this is going to be a big, bad hurricane. I'm saying the possibility is there. It depends on how long it stays in the Gulf hot waters. It may not become a hurricane. It may become a tropical storm. It may just be a tropical depression with a whole lot of rain. But I've showed you it is going to have some very high wind gusts, and it's going to have some pretty good sustained winds. So, once again, later on this week, midweek, probably Wednesday or Thursday, hopefully we can peg this thing down a little bit better. From my heart as the honest truth, this is what it's looking like this morning. Take care. Share this information if you've got family or friends in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, the southern part of Alabama, the Florida Panhandle. All of these people, you need to be on the alert and be prepared now. Make sure they know. I love you. I thank you for everything you do for me, guys. You're the best. Peace, love, and kindness to all. Thanks for watching.